This is a bar of soap. It's made from the saponification reaction between oils and lye. A lot of people who make cold process soap have no idea why it works and the why behind each ingredient they add. They follow a recipe and then they hope everything works well. So the second they run out of an oil or something starts going wrong, they just feel stuck. So today I'm gonna walk you through the 4 oils that you need to make every soap you need. And here's what nobody tells you. Every bar of soap is a combination of those 4 dials: conditioning, cleansiness, creaminess, and thickness. And every oil you add turns one of those dials either up or down. Understand that and you never need a recipe again. You can basically design a gentle face bar, a cleansing dish soap, a very creamy shaving soap, a normal everyday soap bar, just because you understand how to turn these dials up and down. And all you need is 1 oil from each dial. And with only 4 oils, you can tweak the ratios and create all the soaps you want. I'm gonna walk you through those 4 dials in detail and the 4 oils you only need in order to make every soap product you want. And I put down together a free PDF that shows you exactly how you can use those 4 oils, their fatty acid profiles and percentages that you can use in order to create a completely unique soap product like shaving soap, body soap, sensitive skin soap, dish soap, and so on. If you want this, remember to comment "I want the system" and I will send to you as soon as I see your comment. Let's start with oil number 1. Coconut oil, which is perhaps one of the most popular ones. Right now it's very hot where I'm at and coconut oil is in liquid form. But why is coconut oil so important? Coconut oil is high in lauric and myristic acid, and those 2 fatty acids, they do 3 things. Number 1, they add a lot of bubbles to your soap. Number 2, they add a lot of cleansing power to your soap. And number 3, they actually add a lot of hardness to your soap. Bear in mind that hardness does not equal long lasting. So a soap that is very hard because it's high in coconut oil, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a long lasting soap. It just means that it's a very hard soap. Coconut oil tends to create an extremely water soluble soap. That's why it bubbles a lot and that's why it's not as long lasting as you think. But here's the catch. If you add too much coconut oil, you have a lot of cleansing power and that can be drying for the skin. So coconut oil is not very good for people who have sensitive or dry skin. I always recommend for people who have very sensitive or dry skin to remove coconut oil completely. Let's look a bit at the fatty acid profile, because if you know the fatty acid profile of every oil, you will understand and you can predict its properties in soap making. So for example, here we have basically 3 main cleansing oils in soap making. We have coconut oil, which is the most popular one, high in lauric and myristic acid. Then we have babasu oil, which is slightly lower in lauric and slightly lower in myristic acid. So some people who might, for example, have sensitivity in coconut oil because it might be too drying, they will use babasu oil. But babasu oil is also way more expensive. So I just say if you have sensitivity, don't use coconut oil at all or just minimize its concentration. And then we have palm kernel oil, which is very popular one. It's used in some very popular soaps like Klaus Porto, Chanel No. 5 soap, and so on. And palm kernel oil, of course, it's cheap. It comes from the palm tree. From the palm tree, you can get both palm oil and palm kernel oil. Palm oil is what adds creaminess and conditioning properties to your soap, and palm kernel oil adds cleansiness. So those are the main basically oils used in soap making for cleansiness. Now here's the thing, coconut oil, you have sensitive skin, you can just remove it completely or minimize it. Do you want a soap that is very cleansing for the dishes, for example? Then you increase coconut oil up to 95 or even 100%. If you want to check how to make dish soap with coconut oil, then check this video right here. And here's the thing, when we say coconut oil in soap making, we don't actually mean that in soap the end product will actually contain coconut oil. What happens is that in soap making we have a chemical reaction, we have a transformation. So basically coconut oil will react with sodium hydroxide to produce the saponified version of coconut oil, and that saponified version of coconut oil is very water soluble and creates a lot of bubbles, because as you know, coconut oil in itself It's an oil. It doesn't create bubbles. It's not suitable to clean something. I mean, it will make things more oily and more dirty and not clean anything. So that's the secret here, is that we have a chemical reaction. While in other skincare products like lip balms, deodorants, hand creams, face creams, you don't have a chemical reaction. You have the oils in their original form, basically. Now, the second oil we are going to talk about is actually olive oil. And olive oil is perhaps one of the most popular oils for soap making. And the most popular soaps in the world, as you know, they contain a high concentration of olive oil. The Aleppo soap, the Marseille soap, the Castille soap, they all have this thing in common, basically. And olive oil has been used for centuries, and the amazing thing about olive oil is that it leads to a soap that is very conditioning and has a very gentle lather. Now, if we look at the fatty acid profile of olive oil, you will see that olive oil is high in oleic acid, 58 to 83%, and oleic acid, once it reacts with lye, it produces sodium oleic, which is what gives a conditioning and gentle lather. Now, if you have sensitive skin, olive oil is your go-to oil, because you can just make a soap with 100% olive oil, or as we will see later, you can also make a soap with olive oil and shea butter, or olive oil and beef tallow, and it will create an amazing conditioning lather. You don't need coconut oil to make soap. You can also just make plain soap with 100% olive oil. Now, if you're making soap with 100% olive oil and it's cold process, remember, it needs a lot of curing, and that's because olive oil takes a lot of time to be converted into soap and create a very nice crystal structure that is hard enough. So basically, if you use olive oil soap before its curing time, it will be very soft and slimy. So you have to cure it for minimum 6 months. I know it's a lot, but the result is phenomenal. And as you know, apart from olive oil, you can also use other oils. I always recommend people, whenever you want to choose a conditioning oil, to check the linoleic acid concentration. If the linoleic acid concentration is low, then it's a good conditioning oil. And that's because linoleic acid is the main reason of dreaded orange spots. Which is basically these orange spots that are created in your soap when it gets oxidized. So basically, your oils get oxidized and they turn into these dreaded orange spots. So as an oil that has a high concentration of linoleic acid, like rice bran oil, as you can see here, sweet almond oil, or even grapeseed oil, 69%, regular sunflower oil, pumpkin seed oil, rosehip oil, they all have a tendency to create these dreaded orange spots. And now we go to one perhaps of my own personal favorite category, which is the dial that adds creaminess, hardness and structure to your soap. And these are oils like shea butter, cocoa butter, lard, beef tallow and palm oil. Those all have a thing in common. They have a combination of stearic, palmitic and oleic acid, and they create an amazing conditioning lather because of oleic acid, and an amazing lather with a lot of creaminess because of stearic acid, and a very long-lasting lather because of palmitic acid. So if you want a very long-lasting soap, not only hard soap, you can add butters from this category, because butters like shea butter, cocoa butter, lard, beef tallow, they all lead to a very long-lasting soap. And as you will see, there are differences between shea butter, cocoa butter, lard, beef tallow and palm oil, mainly in the concentration of palmitic acid. So shea butter has a very low concentration of palmitic acid, while beef tallow has a high concentration of palmitic acid, and so does palm oil and cocoa butter. And usually palmitic acid is what makes a very stable and long-lasting lather. They all add creaminess to your lather, so they're very suitable oils if you want to make a shaving soap. You add a high concentration of any of those. If you want to see a dual-eye shaving soap recipe, click here in this video. It's one of my favorite recipes to make, actually. And the good thing about this soap is that you can actually make a soap with 100% cocoa butter, or 100% beef tallow, or 100% lard. And you don't need to cure it for 6 months. You just need to cure it for 4 weeks. And it will lead to a very long-lasting lather and a very creamy lather. I highly recommend you try this soap out. When it comes to shea butter, 100% shea butter is a bit on the higher side because shea butter has a high concentration of unsaponifiables, meaning that you also get substances that do not saponify well and it might feel a bit sticky. You can still make soap with 50% shea butter and the rest can be olive oil, coconut oil, and so on. I recommend if you want to make a soap with only one of those oils, 100%, that would be either cocoa butter, lard, beef tallow, or palm oil. And then the last dial, this is actually quite important. The last dial is what adds richness and thickness to your lather. And this is only castor oil. There is no other oil that has a high concentration of ricinoleic acid out there. It's only castor oil in this category. And castor oil, you just add a bit. You don't need a lot. You add like 5-6%, and that's enough to create a very thick and rich lather. Coconut oil and castor oil work very well together. Coconut oil creates bubbles. Castor oil will come in and make those bubbles very thick and rich. Also, you can make soap with olive oil and castor oil. So 95% olive oil, 5% castor oil will help a bit with the lather. And the same with beef tallow. So castor oil fits in all soap recipes in a low concentration, 5 to 6%. Don't add more because it can actually create a very sticky lather because it's very viscous and sticky itself. So look now what just happened. I didn't give you a recipe. I didn't tell you what to add in what concentrations and so on. I gave you the framework and the dials you need in order to tweak the ratios and create a completely unique product. So coconut oil for bubbles and hardness, shea butter or beef tallow for a very creamy, long-lasting lather, olive oil for conditioning and gentle lather, and castor oil for thickness and richness to your lather. That's why I put together a free PDF that I mapped out basically all of these oils, the butters, their fatty acid profile, and how you can use them, how you can tweak the ratios to create 6 completely new skincare products, from sensitive skin soap, normal soap, dish soap, shaving soap, and even a deodorant and a lip balm. So if you want this, click I want the formulation and I will send to you as soon as I see your comment. And now here's the catch. Every time you change a ratio of an oil, whether you change coconut oil, whether you reduce coconut oil, whether you increase olive oil, whatever you do, you need to recalculate the amount of lye you add. Remember, always use a soap calculator like soapcalc.net that shows you how much lye you need in order to convert your oils into soap. And every time you make an adjustment, you need to recalculate from scratch. You cannot use the same amount of lye because coconut oil has different need of lye than olive oil. So coconut oil needs more lye than olive oil, and every butter, every oil has a different requirement of lye. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to comment I want the formulation down in the comments below, and then I will send you the free PDF as soon as I see your comment, where you will understand exactly how you can tweak the ratios, their fatty acid profile, and how you can make 6 completely new skincare products. And if this video changed how you think about soap making even a little, remember I have an ebook that basically takes you from being someone who just copies recipes to someone who designs their own recipes based on their own goals, because my aim is not for you only to learn how to copy random recipes in the internet, but how to understand the why behind things and how to design your own recipes from scratch. I have an ebook that contains all of that, plus 15 tested recipes from soap making and other skincare products like shampoo, conditioner, creams, lip balms, deodorants, and so on. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.